Psychoceutical announced that it's brought on Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank and the creator of the infomercial, as investor and strategic advisor. More than 20 of Harrington's companies have topped $100 million in revenue. He joins me to discuss what he plans on bringing to the psychedelics industry. Kevin, hi. It's great to be with you here.
My pleasure. Looking forward to having a little fun here today.
Absolutely. Okay, so as a well-known name from Shark Tank and also just a famed entrepreneur yourself, you know that your involvement in anything essentially will cause a stir that kind of comes with the territory of being someone who is so revered. So the things that you become involved in are then also a reflection of you. So what do you want your involvement in Psychoceutical to actually say about your beliefs in psychedelics?
Well, I think number one, I do believe that this is an industry that is going to a big future, and I believe it's a trillion dollar industry that we're going to be coming into. So I also know that there's a lot of a tremendous problem in the world, and the United States specifically, with mental health and a lot of challenges. And so I've over the years, even with family members, it has touched me personally also, not myself personally, but just family members, et cetera. And so I believe that the world of psychedelic medicine is needed and will be very powerful in creating what I say is magical transformations, which are, it's kind of what I have looked for in my world as an entrepreneur, as a product owner, are focusing on products that will create change, that will create amazing benefit, that will create magical transformation. So I believe this is an industry that has that potential in a big way, to the point of, like I said, I think that we're looking at $1 trillion potential in the future.
And so you've been looking around for opportunities in the psychedelics industry, but what was it specifically about Psychoceutical that tipped you into actually making a choice?
Well, so when I looked at Psychoceutical, there was a very attractive situation. First of all, some great people. I always like to see folks like Zappelin, and that are pioneers in the industry. So getting the right people, the right business people. I also knew one of the early investors that is a connection of mine. How I ended up getting involved was through a gentleman in the St. Pete, Sarasota marketplace. So got a phone call from somebody, said, "You got to check this out." I said, "Well, I have been doing a little research in this world." So what excited me though was the fact that there's really kind of two profit centers with Psychoceutical. Number one, they can create their own products, which they're in the development of creating their own products, but also they have patented technologies and delivery methods and dosing systems that they actually can license to other people in the industry, sort of on a royalty basis. So I think they have this co-opetition model, I guess is what it's called, right? So potentially those that are in the industry might even be able to utilize Psychoceutical's delivery methods. So that becomes a very powerful scenario. They can create their own products and have great success, but they also have the potential to offer their delivery methods in a co-opetition fashion to the competitors, which could be even bigger than some of the things that they do themselves. So great opportunities.
Yeah. And so kind of a two-pronged question for you here, but given the circles that you are running in and the potential massive movement of money from investors into these companies, are you finding that people kind of in your realm are finally starting to it's starting to pique their interest, that we're moving a little further away from this idea of, these are drugs to these are potential like life-changing investments that you can be making. And the second part of that question is then, if people are curious and they can invest, like, why should they be excited about the future of Psychoceutical now that you're involved?
Yeah, I mean, when as an entrepreneur, I think of it this way: like, nobody expected COVID. When COVID hit, they had to do massive amounts of approvals of vaccines and all these kinds of things very quickly. And so there was a problem in the market. They reacted, and I think that now COVID has created even more challenges in mental health. People have come out of it in a dizzying kind of effect with depression, anxiety, addiction, et cetera. Right. So now this next level, there's a lot of people out in the market that need help, and so we will be Psychoceutical will be pushing to get approvals and to get products and our own products, as well as I mentioned, this co-opetition model to bring these kinds of things to the marketplace that will benefit the folks involved. So yes, there will be some tests needed, and getting government approvals in the right areas are always going to be part of those processes. But when products work and there's a problem in the marketplace, generally there's a way to speed things up a little bit and getting them approved to bring into the marketplace. And there are already various off-label methods that are being used for ketamine, for example, et cetera. So this isn't starting from ground zero. There's been years of research and development and benefits and off-label uses. And so we're able to come in and kind of supercharge it and say that, this is something that is definitely going to be happening here in the marketplace in the near term.
Right. And so what you're saying is that the appeal for some people is not even that they necessarily need to be attached to the idea of the mental health potential of this, but now we're starting to see a wave of people who are just like, oh, there is money to be made here. Essentially, there is a problem and this is a potential solution, and that perhaps your involvement might actually help some of those people understand the legitimacy of this. Would you say that's correct?
I think so. I mean, I know that, one of the other sharks, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, has gotten involved in some areas here. I don't want to speak too much of that because that's, he speaks for himself. But, the bottom line is, I believe that there are when the marketplace creates problems. And I say to people say to me, because I've launched over 1,000 products over the years and dealt with inventors, right? Inventors come to me. And so a lot of times I've seen ideas on a napkin, and they need development, they need marketing, they need all kinds of investment. So this is what I do, and so sometimes I get in at the very ground floor, and fortunately, Psychoceutical already had a great base, already had some momentum, and an industry that had momentum. And so yes, I think there are people out there that understand that there's millions of people dealing with all these issues of depression, anxiety, PTSD that need help. And now there's entrepreneurs and investors that say, hey, wait a minute. Yes, that when inventors invent, what they do is they solve problems that exist. So I know people that go around their house and say, what problems do I have around my house? What can I invent today? Well, here is a problem that exists in the marketplace. COVID had, a significant amount of having to do with people further in putting people further into depression and some of the situations they're in. So the timing is good. And I think this was an accelerant. COVID potentially was an accelerant to helping get people focused on the psychedelic world, and Psychoceutical was one of those companies that's taking advantage of this opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think you really nailed it when you said that. It was almost like COVID exacerbated the perhaps low simmering mental health crisis that was already starting to percolate, this disconnect that so many people are feeling from their bodies and the dissatisfaction that they might be feeling from their lives. And
Yes.
It's strange that that COVID would actually help accelerate or at least put into focus the benefit of psychedelics, of going inward, right? Of that inner journey.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're providing expertise on strategy, direction, execution, the company's growth, which, I love the fact that you gave us that imagery of the inventor with the napkin, because it sounds like you are uniquely positioned in the way that you think to be able to help guide a company like this into the future, because what you see is potential.
Absolutely. I mean, I like in my world of my previous life, in the world of as seen on TV, when I was launching a lot of these products, we did a lot of gadgets and kitchen products and things, but we also, like, for example, when we got, one of the biggest successes in my world that one of my competitors had was an acne product that used benzoyl peroxide and salicylic acid, et cetera. That this was proactive, and this was a company that it was again. This was a product that had magical transformation. From someone with lots of acne and troubled skin, and now 6 weeks later, clear skin and a magical transformation. So these are the kinds of things I've seen happen in my industry. I got involved with acne products myself, but this is now a world. Psychoceutical is dealing in a world that requires obviously some heavy, government approvals ahead, beforehand. But again, because there are off-label uses and successes happening right now, I think you'll see the companies like Psychoceutical and others pushing to get approval of these kinds of products, the ketamines and I guess, let's see, I'm trying to think of some of the other psilocybin, right? Okay, so excuse me.
Yeah. No, we're all trying to decondition ourselves from saying magic mushrooms. So
exactly. So it's here. Now it's getting the right team of people, because from my side, I'm a marketing person, and I'll put together marketing programs, influencers and digital success of ads and things like that. But we also need all of the right legals and studies and the things that are required, by the government, because obviously has to be done in accordance with getting approvals and clearances. So this dream team that we've Psychoceutical has assembled is pretty powerful, because we've got, I think, all sides covered, with the ability to, once these products are ready and approved, we're going to be ready to get the word out to the public via the marketing programs that we put together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Final question for you, just in terms of strategic thinking. What do you imagine, or what is the vision that you're working towards? And I won't give you too far of a runway, but where is Psychoceutical 5 years from now?
Well, hey, that's a really good question. I believe if we execute the way we're planning to with the team, we have you need investors, you need money, and so this is something that not only myself but some of the other principles of Psychoceutical are experienced in. I had a previous pubco that I was on the board of. In a few years that I was there, we raised a $30 million round, a $70 million round, a $350 million round. And so this was raising capital. But at the same time, we were executing direct to the consumer strategies, utilizing influencers very significantly. So influencers marketing is one of the big ways that things are happening. And so I have I could go on and on with the various companies that I'm involved with currently that we are utilizing and signing influencer after influencer after influencer to bring value to the table, to communicate with their followers. And so, when we get influencers involved, like one of the previous companies was a company I was involved with called Celsius. We took a stock that started at 10 cents a share and literally got it to over $100 a share, utilizing thousands of influencers, and some at high levels and some at very low levels. So again, these are techniques and systems that we will be putting into place for Psychoceutical. So, I like to think big, but there's never a guarantee of where a company's going to go. But the last company that I just mentioned, we started with millions of dollars in value. We created billions of dollars. And so I look for billion-dollar projects, and I'm hoping and looking for Psychoceutical to be that kind of an opportunity. And if we have the right people, we have the money and the right approach, I'm hoping we can take this to $1 billion+ value.
Wonderful. I feel like that's the perfect place to end this and give people something to think about and get on board with.
Super. All
Kevin,
right.
Thank you so much.
Great hanging with you, Nicole. Thank you.
Hanging. Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up. We really value your feedback, so please leave a comment. And if you like what we do, share a link to this video on social and make sure to subscribe to our channel. And when you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell to receive notifications on all the videos we post in the future.